Hey all you people out there in YouTube land, I'm Velma. I am the Velma like Velvet that's behind velmasworld.blogspot.com, and you may know me also as the yarn adventurer behind COLORBOMB Creations, which I have on Etsy, in a little Etsy shop where I sell hand-spun art yarns. Today I thought what I'd do is I'd give you a little insight into how I make my own art yarn. This one is an inclusion yarn. This one has, it's hard to tell, sorry, you have to bear with me because I don't have anybody with any tricky zoom in, zoom out. It's just me out here in the backyard. But what I've got here is some gray fiber with some yarn scraps that I've spun into the yarn before applying. So if you'd like to follow along, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to gather up your materials. In this case, what I'm going to use is some Shetland bats. They're already ready to go. This one's gray. I'm just going to tear off a hunk. Got a little bit here. The next trick is going to be to gather up all of your yarn scraps. I have a whole bunch. I just keep them right here at hand. I've got some eyelash yarns. I've got some ladder yarns. I've got some vanilla yarns. I've got some more eyelash yarns. Pretty much whatever you want to put in it. Sky's the limit, or go simple. It's up to you. Short scraps, long scraps, doesn't matter. It'll all go in. Oh, and I also have some sari thrums, some silk thrums that I plan on putting in there as well. So as you can see, I've already gotten it started. I'm actually about 2/3 the way done already, but this might give you an idea next time you want to try one. Okay, so all I've done is I started out with a pretty basic singles here. I'm going to join on my bat. You can really use pretty much any fiber. You can use roving or a bat. Locks would work too. Whatever you feel most comfortable with. And then when I'm ready to join in an inclusion, I just pick out the piece I want. In this case, it looks like it's about, I'd say 14 inches long. It's a synthetic clay material. So there's a couple of different ways you can join your yarn into your singles. In this case, I'm just pulling the yarn up through the center of the roving, allowing the twist to grab in there to get it firmly secured. That's one of the keys. You want to make sure you get the yarn or the other trim that you're inserting firmly embedded so that it doesn't come undone. Despite plying, that is an obstacle. So then I'm going to just continue spinning along, and periodically I'm going to just sort of jam it back through, give it some texture. Make sure the end is also firmly in there. You see? That's not going anywhere. And you want to make sure you put lots of twist into this yarn. We're going to apply it when we're finished, but we don't want to lose the twist by applying it, and we certainly don't want those yarn scraps to fall out. So you can go along as long as you want with just plain fiber. I space mine irregularly for a little more visual interest. In this case, it looks like it's about, I don't know, probably a foot or so. Then it's time for the next one. I think the next piece I'll put in here is this piece of eyelash yarn. It's black and red. And one trick is, you want to put it so that it's going against the grain. If you see, as I pull down, that pops out all the little furry bits. If you go the other direction, as you're spinning, it tends to lie them down. I don't know if you can see that without a close-up, but they tend to lie down. So just twist it over the other direction so it's going against the grain. Alright, now, next step, same as before. Pull out all the little pieces of farm crap first. Nobody likes to have splinters in their yarn. Put it through. Start your spin. Oops, more farm. Gotta grab those out, pull them out when you find them. And then in this case, I'm just allowing the yarn to wrap around the outside of the singles in order to give it that furry effect. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just pull it right on through again. That gets it so that it's not going to come loose. And then I allow it to wrap back around again. Now, I'm coming to a thin spot, so I think what I'll do is I'll actually anchor the end of the yarn inside the roving so that it will actually wrap right around it. You lose the end of your roving, it's not a big deal. Just overlap and keep going. And that's basically all there is to it. So you just do that repeatedly until you have as much yardage as you want. We'll grab another piece here. Once again, create a hole, pull a loop through, in that case, and wrap. You can really accomplish a lot of different effects doing it this way. And you notice this is a really stop and start kind of process. It's not a zen kind of a go with the flow kind of spinning. It's much more of a stop and start. Stop to pull out bits of hay. Of course, the more that you prep your fiber, the less you'll have to stop to pull out stray bits of farm. And of course, the more you ready your yarns, the less work you have to do as you're spinning. You can also cut the pieces as you go. You can see I have a bowl of yarn balls over there in the coordinating colors, just ready to get snipped off. Well, you'll see I also have my scissors here handy in case I need to cut another piece. See the effect of that one? What you have here is a bit of bladder yarn, another foot or so of bladder yarn, doubled up and bunched throughout the singles. Like I said, you want to maintain a fairly high level of twist in these yarns because you're going to lose a lot of the twist during the plying process. Really, you can put in anything you want into this type of a yarn. Put in beads or pom-poms, but the general principle here is you're anchoring the inclusion at both ends so that it doesn't come loose. I've actually seen other yarns where that's not been done, and the result is that the inclusions tend to just fall out when you're working with the yarns. They're not as sturdy. So be sure that you anchor them firmly at both ends. I'm accomplishing different types of texture here by how much or how little of the scrap that I've pulled through. All there is to it. Add your pieces at will until you have the desired effect. Once you're finished with your yarn, all you're going to do is ply it in a coordinating or contrasting color. It doesn't really matter what you use. The general idea is that's just going to further anchor the pieces into the thing that's finished plied yarn. That should also create a relatively balanced yarn. You put the amount of twist in to counteract the over twist that you put into the singles, you should have a relatively balanced yarn as a result. So, there you have it. That's how you add in yarn scraps into singles before plying. Thanks, and I hope to see you again.